Welcome back to Song Tripping. I'm joined again by Ken Pobo. Ken, thanks for doing this again.
Hi, it's always fun for me.
And we are going to talk today about recent acquisitions. So we're recording this in the middle of May 2022, and I'd like to kind of check in and see what Ken's been buying on CD and vinyl. And I will share a little bit of the stuff that I've been getting recently. I guess I'll start and then I'll hand it over to Ken. You've got 5 or 6 albums to share. I'm going to just peek behind me and get this stack of Procol Harum reissues. So we know that Gary Brooker passed away earlier this year, sadly. And I've been kind of revisiting my Procol collection. And I realized I wanted to get these esoteric recording remasters with extended bonus tracks and extras on the Esoteric Recordings Cherry Red UK label. And so I've been busy kind of accumulating these. So I'm going to just kind of go in order here, just really quickly show you. Here's their first album. It's a 2-disc set, and it's got, you know, like a poster in there. Like these booklets on these packages are great. Second album, Shine On Brightly. This is a 3-disc set. You get lots of bonus. You get the stereo album and the mono album and lots of bonus stuff. Their third album, Salty Dog, one of my faves. All these are digital remasters. Fourth album, Home. I already did a video review of this one, Broken Barricades. This is a 3-disc set. I just posted a video review of their Live with the Edmonton Symphony album. And then Exotic Birds and Fruit. And behind me, you can see the poster that came with it. They have these nice kind of little printed extras, which are really cool. And then Procol's Ninth. So there's a couple, there's one I just ordered from oldies.com that's hopefully on the way, called Grand Hotel. And I think there's a couple more that I might get eventually, a couple of their later albums, but that's almost a complete run of Procol Harum, all reissued within the last, I'd say 5 to 10 years. And I'm just thrilled to be able to get these and listen to these.
Well, what about the bonus tracks? Do they add to the albums, or are they throwaways? What kind of?
There's all kinds of stuff. You get rehearsals, like demos, lots of live sets that they did for radio stations, some live performance material. You get B-sides of singles that may not have been on the albums. They just did a really nice job at Esoteric doing these. Cherry Red is a great label.
I love Cherry Red. Oh yes, I have Cherry Red records myself.
So that's really been the focus of my record buying lately, and it's plenty to listen to, and I'm having a lot of fun. So stay tuned on Song Tripping, because I'm going to try to review most, if not all, of those reissues. So Ken, what do you have? What have you been getting lately?
Oh, I'm kind of like a waterfall. There's always something coming over the water. So they're all, unlike you, which is kind of, you know, all one particular band. I've got a variety of different things here. I guess I'll start with something that just came out, I think just this very last week or so. Let me hold it up so people can see it. Do I have it upside down?
No, you had it right side up. There you go.
Yeah, all right. Belle and Sebastian, and the album is called A Bit of Previous. I don't know if you know Belle and Sebastian, but
I have most of their albums. I love that band.
I do too. I find them. A friend of mine introduced me to him. You know, he's always trying to get me into more like people that aren't, you know, 1969. You know, open your mind a little bit. But that was one time that he was right, because, you know, I really like them. They have there's nice harmonic stuff that goes on. I haven't played it all yet. I've only played part of it, but what I've played so far, I like very much. Very pleased with it.
I might have to pick that one up on CD. I'll definitely stream it. I think I saw that it was out. It's pretty brand new, isn't it? Was it just released?
It just came out. I don't remember where I read about it. Yeah, maybe I could tell you if I could see what label it's on here. Matador.
They're still on Matador. Yeah, they've been on Matador a long time.
Yeah, so
yeah, great band. Like really
maybe,
cool chamber pop. It's a kind of a, it's evocative of the late 60s, I would say. You know, like I think that's why maybe we gravitate towards that band. They
it could be, you know, someone compared some of their songs to like Simon and Garfunkel. I'm not sure. A little bit, yeah.
A little bit like the Left Bank. The Left Bank, I think of when I listen to Belle and Sebastian sometimes. Yeah, there's a lot of bands.
Yeah, but they've kind of stayed with me over time here. Going back into more my world, this group is called The Pleasure Fair. And what's interesting, they were on the Uni label. I believe this was 1967. I'm going to flip it over for one reason here. It's kind of an advertisement. See if oh yeah, people can see it. If you look at the top, it says OLDAYS. That's the label that put it out. It's Japanese. And this label has brought back all sorts of things that for whatever reason, the American companies aren't bringing it out. And I've already ordered like 5 or 6 CDs from this old days. If you go to their site, good luck, because you have to order it in Japanese. that doesn't help me. But like the albums are often available on eBay, usually for like $30. But if it's stuff you really want, you don't have, that old days is really good. And this one, it's the whole album. The Pleasure Fair only had one, but they, under another name, they also had one other single, and they did include that as bonus tracks on there. And the bonus track, the single that they did under another name, was very good. The group was important in one way because David Gates of Bread and at least one other member who became in Bread was involved with this group. So
I think that's familiar to me. I might have streamed that album. I think it's on Tidal and Spotify, because the cover looked familiar, and that is why I would have come across it, because I do like Bread, and I must have been researching David Gates or something and seen that, oh yeah, he was in this band before Bread.
And it's harmonic pop.
Yeah.
And, you know, 2 years later, there would be Bread, you know, and they'd have their first album out. And that's kind of just going on from some of the stuff that you saw in the Pleasure Fair. Although the Pleasure Fair, it was not a success as far as commercial, but that never stopped me ever. Oh, and then an anthology. This is called Ocean Child. Maybe I'll show both sides of it. You'll recognize, if you can see, that's Yoko Ono. And if you flip it over, you can see the track listing, and it's contemporary artists doing Yoko Ono songs and doing them in their own way. I'll just say, sometimes I feel Yoko constantly has gotten such a bad rap that people don't listen to her because they say all she does is scream. That's not true. You know, I'm sick of that kind of chitter chat. Or they say she broke up the Beatles. Well, whatever she did or didn't do, I guess that means we just dismiss the music.
Well, if you watch the Get Back documentary about the Beatles' Let It Be sessions, it really puts that myth to rest, because Yoko comes across as not a problem at all in that film. She is not the problem.
Well, I suppose there's a lot, you know, at that period in particular, you know, I kind of believe, you know, nothing lasts forever. Even very beautiful, wonderful things, you know, just that's the nature of life.
So I'm just curious, like, what kind of artists are on that album covering her?
A lot of them are people I don't know, but some of the choices, her name is Sharon Van Etten. I don't know her, but she does one of my favorite Yoko songs called Toy Boat. You know Toy Boat? If you don't, well, you go and after we're done today, go listen to that. Death Cab for Cutie.
Oh yeah, they're good.
They do a nice Yoko song called Waiting for the Sunrise. Listen, the Snow is Falling. That was a B-side, I think, with the Plastic Ono Band. That's by Stephen Merritt. The Flaming Lips doing Mrs. Lennon.
Good band.
So you've got all sorts of people. They're choosing interesting songs, but contemporary takes on Yoko's music.
I'll stream that one. I'll definitely stream that one.
And this one, I gotta say, the title is kind of funny. Put a Ring on My Finger. Out of Australia. It's an anthology of girl groups and girl artists on the Teensville label. Keep your eyes open for anything that's on Teensville. For one thing, as I look on the, well, here's the back cover. How did they do this? 35 tracks.
Must be
35 tracks. Well, some of the songs, you know, a minute 55, you know, I guess you can fit a lot, but they're really, many of them are very obscure. If you like that sound or you're interested in that particular genre, at least this is not like, oh, I've already got that on 3 other CDs, you know. It's got a lot of stuff that they had to go down and do some digging to get that as well. So that's been kind of fun getting to know this. I'm going to play a couple tracks off of it tonight on my Obscure Oldies show as well. So
tell us about Obscure Oldies. Where can we listen in to that show?
Oh, yeah, I do it on Saturday nights, Eastern time, 6 to 8:30. You can do it through tunein.com. And then there's a little search bar and you type in Widecast and I should come up right then.
Widecast Obscure Oldies is the name of the show.
Yeah, but all you have to do is at the search bar, you type in Widecast, but the tunein.com, that's what the address to get to it. There's other ways I think you can access it as well. But yeah, I'll be doing that tonight, as a matter of fact. But it's mainly 60s, but it's not just hits. And it's not just the 60s. I do other things as well. Like I'll have a track from that new Belle and Sebastian album, for example,
nice.
that I'm going to include. This is a brand new album by, yeah, well, maybe I should turn it over. Lonnie Hall. She was lead vocalist of Brazil 66. And she's had a solo career since Brazil 66 as well. It says featuring Herb Alpert. She's married to Herb Alpert. They're still, he's in his 80s, and they're still performing, you know.
He's still playing the trumpet?
Yeah, he's I think on the album, you know.
Nice.
I think like in his 80s and you still have the breath to do the trumpet. Good for you, Herb. Glad you're hanging in there. But yeah, Seasons of Love. So that's a new one that I just got. And then also Mary Hopkin, who, you know, had a big hit in late 68 called Those Were the Days, has a new album out and it's called Pieces. And you can get it through maryhopkin.com. Mary has her own music site. And so it's put out by Mary Hopkin Music. So you're not going to be looking for a major label to put something like this out. She just does it herself, essentially. Helped a lot, I think, by her 2 kids who are also involved in music here. But when I listened, I thought this is very pleasant, very relaxing. And, you know, I thought, I like Mary Hopkin and I have since the late 60s. It's nice to hear something new.
Cool.
So I think that's, yeah, those are the things right there. Those are the new acquisitions.
Well, while you were talking, I was thinking of some older, newer acquisitions I've gotten either used or, you know, brand new on a physical medium. So I just want to run through some of these real quickly. I won't even do show and tell, but I found, I think I did order this one new probably off of eBay. There's a Jimmy Webb soundtrack album called Selections from the Motion Picture Soundtrack Voices. Voices was kind of some sort of a romantic film that was done, I think, in the 70s. I thought that was definitely an obscurity, and it's one you can't stream. So I'm like, when I saw it on CD, I'm like, I had to get it. And yeah, let me actually, I can show you the cover on Discogs. This was kind of a nice find. Original songs and score by Jimmy Webb. So it features several artists, Burton Cummings, Jimmy's on here himself, Andy and David Williams, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Willie Nelson. So it's interesting. It's like a 3-star album. I wouldn't say it's like amazing, but it's kind of interesting to hear. Any Jimmy Webb is interesting to me.
What's the connection with Burton Cummings?
He just sings on some of these songs. So, Jimmy wanted his voice.
Huh.
He looks like he produced some of it too, or at least he produced that song.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's that. That was kind of a nice find. And then I bought this 4 CD box. Let me show this to you as well. I should have prepared this and just gotten these off the shelves, but I did get this on CD. The Wrecking Crew.
Oh my.
Do you have this?
I don't know.
But this was a kind of a cool box. It's 3 CDs of hits that the Wrecking Crew played on. Like they were the LA studio musicians. And so you've got the Ronettes on here, Gary Lewis and the Playboys, Richie Valens, Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr., Fifth Dimension, Dean Torrance, Jan and Dean, Beach Boys, Barry McGuire, like Association, Michael Nesmith, Monkey, like all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of famous stuff. But then the 4th disc is all recordings that the Wrecking Crew made under their own names. So this is the more obscure stuff. And sounds great. Here you can see the track lists. Lots of cool stuff. And it's kind of interesting to realize that the same musicians were playing on all these songs,
Wow, that's quite a lineup.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I got that one on CD. And then just made me mention a couple more. I did pick up some early Linda Ronstadt. There was a 2 CD compilation on BGO Records of her albums, Hand Sewn, Homegrown, Silk Purse, those 3 albums. Any Linda is fine in my book. And I have all these on vinyl, but I just wanted to get them on CD. And I found them at a good price. So that was cool. And then Rumor has a new album out. Let me show this image to you all. B-Sides and Rarities, Volume 2. So I ordered this album off of Rumor's website, and I got an autographed copy of the CD. So she signed the front cover, and lots of cool stuff on here. Some originals, but lots of covers of Bacharach David, Anyone Who Had a Heart, Windows of the World, and Wives and Lovers.
Peggy Lee song.
Which one?
The Folks Who Live on the Hill. That's one of Peggy's earlier, most famous ones.
Good song. Yeah, that's a good track. She even does Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters, the Elton John song from Honky Chateau. That's a favorite Elton song of mine. There's a Bee Gees song on here too.
How Deep Is Your Love? Really
nice cover of that song. Really, really well handled. And that made me appreciate what a cool song that is. Just melodically and harmonically. Like you just think of it as this, wasn't that on the Saturday Night Fever album? How deep is
I'm beginning to forget which was on which.
It was album. Like disco.
Either
era.
way, it was a very huge hit.
It was disco era, but this is not a disco version of it. And I just realized, wow, that's a really great song.
I noticed she also does "I Want to Rue You." That's Van Morrison.
Yes, and it's a strong album from start to finish. So it's really, anytime Rumor comes out with an album, I'm on board with it. And that's pretty much sort of the highlights of what I did go to a library sale about a month ago and picked up a whole bunch of stuff for like nothing. I think they were like 50 cents per CD. And I got some good stuff. There was a whole run of Peter Cetera CDs. Like he had like a lot of solo albums that starting in the 80s. And I got almost all of them. Peter Cetera was the bass player in Chicago before he went solo, as I'm sure you know. Well, these CDs, they're not that great. I mean, I'm like, I don't know if I'm even going to keep them. I might just trade them in. But they were all there. So I figure like, well, let's give them a listen. It's 80s, 90s pop. But, you know, well produced for what it is, but it's nothing I think I'm going to be going back to.
Well, at those prices, though, it's just more like musical exploration.
That's what it was. And I can always stream Peter if I'm in the mood for that, but it's pale in comparison to what he did with Chicago for me. So that's kind of at least a brief update as to what we've been buying lately. I'm sure there's more to come, right?
Oh, if we did this show a month from now, we'd have a whole.
It'll be a brand new, yeah.
Music is always flowing in. That's for sure.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing those. You had some really interesting pickups there, like stuff I'm going to definitely check out. The new Belle and Sebastian, that Yoko Ono covers album, for sure. I'm going to check those out soon.
Oh yeah, and I'm just getting to know these records. You know, when you just get them, it takes a while to do the run through.
It does. Anyway, thanks, Ken, for sharing. And I hope we can connect soon with some more updates.
Yeah, thanks very much. I always enjoy it.
Thanks for listening to Psalm Tripping. And we hope that you will subscribe and hit the like button and notification bell. And hope you will come back and watch more videos. Thanks.